Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. As a super quick further ado, Gamersubs is currently doing a Christmas gift with purchase sale, so that's going to be while supplies last. So if this interests you, you know where to go. Use code OZ at checkout. Thank you! This post was collected by Choice Evidence 1983, and their tagline is, "It dawned on me that he was a wizard." The original OP is Doc I'm Tired, posted to r/Am I the Asshole, October 11th, 2025. For those of you who may have heard this in the past, there is a new update. Am I the asshole for not being very strict with my daughter at my house compared to my ex-wife, which has led to my ex-wife and I exchanging some words to each other? I, 43 male, have a daughter, 16 female, who I have joint custody over with my ex-wife, 39 female. We got divorced when my daughter was a baby, and the court awarded 50-50 custody for both of us. I will admit, though, being a doctor comes with its consequences. I haven't been as present as I wish I could have been. When my daughter was 13, she started telling me things that her mom does, or rules that she has in place over her, and how she thinks it's unfair. I'd listen to her and advise her to talk to her mom. My daughter would then ask if she has to obey those rules over here still, to which I said no. At first, it was just small stuff that I find nitpicky. Things like not being able to eat in the living room. As she's gotten older, she started making more requests for privileges in my house, and it's pretty much gone like this. Example 1. Mom doesn't let me hang out with friends during the week. Well, that's dumb. If you have a ride there and back, you can go with your friends. Example 2. Mom doesn't let me wear comfortable clothes around the house. She says I have to dress modestly. You can walk around the house naked for all I care. Example 3. You and Mom's houses don't have locks on my bedroom door. There isn't a lock? I can call a guy out and have him put a lock in for you if you want. Example 4. Mom doesn't let me drink soda. Do you want soda? If so, I can order it with our groceries from Hygh. You get the idea. I don't want to say I've become a doormat for my daughter, but I'm not nearly as stingy about rules. It's her house just as much as it's mine in my eyes. My ex-wife recently has been going off my daughter and I about how I'm letting her get away with any and everything, and how my lack of discipline at my house is leading her to break rules at her mother's house. I told my ex-wife that she should ease up on our daughter because she's almost a damn adult and doesn't need to be treated like a toddler. My ex-wife went bananas over the phone with me, and at her house, she went off on my daughter for being an undisciplined brat. My ex-wife is threatening to take me to court for custody if I don't straighten up my act. And I told her she can kiss my ass. It has me wondering though, am I being an asshole to my ex-wife? Is this bad dad behavior? I want my daughter to feel safe, comfortable, and happy, and I want to believe I'm doing that. If I'm being an asshole to my ex-wife, what do I do? Relevant comments. Commenter 1, not the asshole. The clothes in the door lock concern me. Is your ex remarried? Other kids in the house? Policing what she wears at home and calling it modest makes it seem like your child is some sort of sexual object and not a kid. Then the lock. It really sounds like she wants to keep people out. You should ask her about that more in depth. The other things some people are more strict on than others, your ex cannot control what happens in your house. Whether she likes it or not, you are an equal parent. Opie responds, now that you mention the lock thing, that does seem concerning. I just passed it off as she wants her own privacy and left it as that. Before my daughter mentioned it, I didn't even know the door didn't have a lock. OP on is it possible that religion might play a role in this situation for the rules at the mother's house? OP, we're not Muslim. I'm an atheist. I'm pretty sure my daughter is too, because I don't hear her talking about going to any form of mass. But my ex-wife is an Orthodox Christian. I don't remember the conversation in full, but it started when my daughter wore just a bra in shorts around her mom's house when she was like 14, and her mom flipped. She doesn't let my daughter wear anything that's revealing or inappropriate around the house or in public. Me? Personally, I don't give a shit what my daughter does or doesn't wear. I've had multiple days that I've woken up on the weekend to get ready for work, and my daughter is butt-ass naked cooking breakfast for herself or watching TV. My first thoughts aren't, oh my god, my daughter is naked, how blasphemous. It's, damn, whatever she's cooking smells pretty good. Or, That TV show makes no sense to me. I've bought my daughter clothes that she wanted and didn't give too much thought into it. Does Opie talk with his daughter on a regular basis on what's going on in her life? My daughter's pretty open with who she's with or where she's going. I do know that she's gonna lie from time to time because she's a teenager and all teenagers do that, but I trust that she can hold her own. I bought her a thing of pepper spray that goes on her keychain with her car keys that she carries everywhere. So, worst case, she has something. I know a few of her friends that I've met at the house, but other than that, no, I don't know. Does Opie enforce his rules at his house when his daughter is with him? I do enforce other rules, such as she needs to have all her homework done before going out with friends. I need to see her report cards, she needs to do her chores, etc., etc. She doesn't fight me over them, and does them usually without me asking, so she's very responsible. OP on his job schedule, and why he doesn't know what his ex has been up to after the divorce. OP: I work almost 16 hours every day and still have to full-time parent to the best of my ability. I try not to pry into my ex-wife's life because most of it isn't any of my business unless it involves my daughter. I can ask, though. OP on parenting his daughter. I'm not a perfect parent. No one is. I work insane hours, and I'm using my day off to fight with my ex-wife about my daughter. Yes, I make mistakes. Yes, I'm not as present as I want to be. My daughter comes to me about a lot of things, and I trust that she's responsible enough to not do insane things. OP on having the grown-up talks with his daughter. I've had grown-up talks with my daughter before, and it's gone fairly well. My daughter told me before anyone else that she's bisexual and was dating a girl. She asked me to keep it a secret from her mom, so I did. She's not dating the girl anymore, but I did meet her, and she seemed like a nice person. I've met a few of her friends, but not all of them. I'll try to do better with keeping up with that, and my daughter was okay with me putting Life 360 on her phone. My daughter doesn't do drugs and doesn't drink. I told her if someone offers her a drink or drugs, deny it and tell me. She said she promises to, and I trust her. As far as I know, my daughter hasn't engaged in any sexual activity, but I've had all the yucky talks with her. When she started having periods, I told her if she ever needs pads or tampons to let me know, and I'll make sure she gets them. I told her if she's going to have sex to make sure they're being safe, condoms, consent, all that. I told her that in the unlikely event she has sex and thinks she's pregnant, or something happens that risks pregnancy, to let me know immediately, and I'll get her pregnancy tests and contraceptives. Now, like any parent, I tell her not to have sex, but I also know that she's 16 and teenagers tend to do it anyway. So I'd rather her do it and be safe and know what resources are available than do it without the education and end up in a bad situation. Update 1. October 12th, 2025, same post, next day. I've been talking to my daughter and ex-wife over the last several hours and have figured out a few things. 1. There is no other permanent resident at my ex's house. No boyfriend, no husband, no other kids, nothing like that. My ex does have this book club thing that she hosts and has guests once a month, but all are adults. 2. My ex-wife doesn't let my daughter have a lock on her door because, and I quote, because I'm not going to give her the ability to hide her drugs or boyfriends she's sleeping with. 3. My ex doesn't let my daughter see her friends during the week because she says her friends are distractions to school. However, her report card says she's doing just fine academically. 4. My ex doesn't just control what she wears, but also won't let her use makeup or even watch/consume adult media. My daughter says that my ex called her attire slutty one time because she was wearing a shirt with no bra. My ex denies saying this, but I wouldn't put it past her. 5. I asked my daughter if she would be okay with me searching her room, and my daughter said she had nothing to hide. I looked around, and guess what? No drugs, no vapes, no illegal plans to take over the US government, nothing like that. Normal 16-year-old girl room. 6. I asked my daughter if she would have a problem with me putting Life 360 on her phone so I can see where she goes. She handed me her phone and said, again, she has nothing to hide, so she doesn't care. 7. I did talk to my daughter about her attitude and treatment to her mother. She agreed that she has been acting out and said she will text or call me if she has an issue with something her mom is doing. She said she will respect her mother's rules, but she did ask me to talk to her about her mother's comments about her body. Apparently, my daughter feels like her mother is sexualizing her and her body, and it makes her uncomfortable. I agree to talk to her mom about it. So far, that conversation is deadlocked because her mom will not let up on her whole modesty shit. 8. My daughter told my ex that if she tried to take me to court, my daughter will ask a judge to live with me full time. More to come update-wise. Thank you all for your input. Update 2, October 19th, 2025, 1 week later. I just want to say thank you to everyone who gave their input on the situation. Over the past 7 days, I've been going through a lot of stress between work, my daughter's reaction, and my ex-wife. To start, last Sunday, I had a very long discussion with my ex-wife about our daughter. To not ramble on, daughter says it's called yapping now, I'll give you the short version. My ex-wife says that she has to be strict on my daughter so she doesn't turn out bad. She doesn't let my daughter wear makeup, hang out with her friends during the week, eat certain foods and drink certain drinks, consume certain media, have locks on her door, wear certain clothes, and she makes my daughter text her every hour she's not at school but out of the house on weekends, detailing who she's with, where she's at, and what they're doing. I talked to my daughter about her mother, and my daughter says her life over there is stressful, feeling like she's always being watched. She feels like she has no freedoms or autonomy, that is at the mercy of her mother. My daughter did admit that she's been acting out recently at her mother's house, but I can't really blame her. I talked to one of my female coworkers who has 3 daughters about the situation I'm in. She said she's worried about my ex-wife mentally abusing my daughter, and I agreed. Some of you online also pointed out that my ex-wife could be sexualizing and objectifying my daughter, to which I've also come to agree to. I knew my daughter and my ex-wife had issues, and have been butting heads on and off now for a while, but I didn't know it was this bad. Regardless, I talked to my daughter about her mother's rules at her house. If her mother doesn't want her eating in the living room or drinking Sprite, she's allowed to have that rule. I told her she cannot like it all she wants, but at the end of the day, they are not unreasonable requests. My daughter, though, very firmly asked me to talk to my ex-wife about the things that bug her the most. Those things are what she does and doesn't wear in the house. A lock on her door and the rules in place about her friends. Only on the weekends and texting her mom constantly. I asked my daughter if she would be okay with me tracking her on Life 360, and she said she's okay with me tracking her, but not her mother. My daughter tells me pretty much everything, though sometimes I wish she didn't overshare information I don't need to know about. And she says she trusts me and knows I trust her. But she doesn't want her mom to be able to track her at all hours of the day. The lock on her door was something else we discussed. I asked my daughter why she wanted a lock on her door, and she provided information I absolutely did not need to know, but basically, she wants privacy and to be alone sometimes. I checked her room out, with her in the room, and we didn't find anything like drugs or plans to overthrow the Illuminati, so she's good on that front. When I asked her mother why she can't have a lock, she said it's because she, and I quote, doesn't want her having sex, doing drugs, or hiding things from her. Apparently, my ex-wife just barges into her room and searches her things. I found that to be ridiculous and a complete violation of my daughter's privacy, and I bitched a fit to my ex about it. No wonder my ex doesn't know any of my daughter and I's little secret, that she's bisexual. She can't even trust her mother not to go through her shit. Next, the whole issue about what she does and doesn't wear in the house. In my house, I couldn't give less of a fuck. Usually she walks around in a shirt with no bra wearing boxers or some shit. Sometimes she wears normal clothes. Sometimes she goes nude. Sometimes she wears one of those full-body pajama suits. I don't give a shit. But she knows the rules about it. She has to leave the house wearing normal clothes, and she needs to have normal clothes on when guests are at the house. When she's there alone or with me, she can do whatever. Her mom, on the other hand, has been sexualizing her daughter and making incredibly suggestive comments about her body. My ex denies doing this, but I don't think my daughter would lie about it. And knowing my ex-wife, she 100% said it. My ex has said my daughter dresses slutty, flaunts herself like a stripper, and is not a modest woman. Needless to say, this pissed me off 6 ways to Sunday, and we exchanged some heated words over the topic. My daughter came over to the house today for our 50-50 custody swap and immediately went and locked herself in her room. At first I thought maybe she was going to go FaceTime her friends or something, so I let it be for a bit. But after she didn't come out after an hour or so, I knocked on her door. My daughter had been crying. I asked why, and she said that my ex told her she's going to take me to court and ensure I won't see her again. Just got done consoling my broken heart daughter, typing all this out with her tears and snot on my nice shirt. There's the update. I say game on to my fucking bitch-ass ex-wife. New update, December 11th, 2025, nearly 2 months later. I forgot just how long and boring the court process is. We just had our initial hearing and bless my attorney. Before officially filing into a court, I met with my ex-wife one last time. I brought my kiddo and my attorney with me, so the three of us could talk, and the attorney could mediate in a way. My ex-wife took the entire meetup as an attack on her rights to see her daughter, and now has her own attorney, so to court we go! My attorney advised my daughter and I to maintain the 50-50 custody agreement until a judge changes it. So we did. You'd think my ex-wife would also agree on it, but no. My bitch ex-wife tried to keep my daughter. My daughter thankfully recorded the entire screaming match between her and her mother before she got in her car and drove to my house herself. Sadly, we are a 2/all-party consent state, so my daughter and I are keeping that to ourselves, but I told her to send me screenshots of what her mother sent her while she was driving, and I can give it to the attorney. Fast forward to the actual hearing. I thought it was going to be nice and easy, but I forgot I live in America and literally nothing in our court system is easy. God, I feel that. The judge scheduled another court date and said a GAL would be appointed for my child. That's a guardian ad litem, basically a lawyer for the child. What was over a month of waiting was wrapped up in about an hour, and our next hearing is scheduled out past the winter solstice and Christmas. When I got home, I told my daughter about what happened and that she was going to be speaking to an attorney called a GAL. Oh, editor's note, guardian ad litem. She asked what to say to them. I told her to say whatever she wants to them, and to not let her mother or I dictate what she tells the attorney. That's her attorney, that she can tell whatever she wants to, and that's for them and her to know and know alone, even if it's jabs at me or her mom. I apologize if this update is not as interesting or exciting as you want. Unfortunately, the court system is not what it appears to be on Law and Order. It is painfully boring and pretty slow. Relevant comments, downvoted commenter. Okay, I've read all your threads and have a few comments. I agree that your ex is a bit too strict, but you're also a bit too lenient. The two of you might have been able to find a middle ground with a little more communication. I would never have brought my attorney and the child to a discussion with the ex like that. That should have been between the two of you only. Involving your attorney and the child would have raised the hackles on most people. That was truly a mistake. I have no opinion on how this is going to come out since I haven't heard anything from your ex's point of view. But you do sound like a very good parent, and therefore, if she's hoping to restrict your time with the child, I cannot see that happening at all. I ride the fence about the reverse. OP responds, I've tried to meet her in the middle about things, but she does not budge. I've met with her and my daughter privately, and absolutely nothing has ever been accomplished in those meetups. I was hoping that if I brought my attorney along that time, my ex would finally realize maybe she's the one not cooperating, but it seems she is incapable. Commenter 1, you're doing everything right, just keep pushing through. It'll all pay off in the end. OP responds, unfortunately, I can't really prove it without the video my daughter took, but technically what my daughter did is illegal in our state. She didn't know it was, so I don't fault her for it, but I can't provide it to an attorney. I wonder if that comment maybe previously got edited or something. Commenter 2. Did you ask the attorney? I think the statuses specifically cover audio recordings, they may not cover video. When those laws were written, video recordings weren't a concern. Your lawyer may know of a legal loophole to allow its use. Might be as simple as a minor can't be expected to know and follow this law, so the video should be admitted. Long story short, make sure you ran this by your lawyer. I'm unclear if you did that already. It's a long hair, but worth the call. Don't put it in writing. OP responds, I didn't ask my attorney or tell them out of fear for my daughter hurting the case. I know my daughter didn't do it on purpose and didn't know that law, but I don't want to give my ex-wife the ammunition of, see, he's spying on me. He's sending his daughter in to record our private conversations. As an insert, I would say at minimum, have your daughter talk to her GAL about the recording. Commenter 3. Info. I saw in your first post that your daughter is 16. How close is she to 17? Reason for this is, insert I'm not a lawyer here, most states start taking the kid's wishes more seriously in custody cases. OP responds, she will turn 17 soon. About 2 years from now, the mom's gonna be pretty shocked when she's not involved in her daughter's life anymore. Even if she wins custody, she's just burning money because the daughter's only gonna be forced to live with her for what? Maybe 8 months at most? Because these legal proceedings are going to take a fucking while. And chances are the judge is going to realize that and be like, why are you two here? She's 17. The biggest downside the father has that goes against him is the fact that he works 16 hours a day. That's not going to go well in his favor, unfortunately. However, though, they're probably going to look at her grades, look at how she acts, look at how she behaves, look at the fact that she's actually a very productive student, look at the fact that she has a clean record, and realize that, well, she's performing decently at her father's and her mother's, so there's not an issue with the 50-50 custody. The mother's just being overtly controlling, and the GAL is going to have the daughter's back on this one and talk about the fact that the mom is just extremely controlling. And this entire current custody stunt is just an extension of that control. Considering the daughter is 16, almost 17, I'd be pretty dumbfounded if they solely went with the mother's discretion here and gave her full custody. Especially at this age, and with the daughter preferring to want custody with her father, I just don't see this working out, and I see this as a last-ditch attempt effort at a Hail Mary. Also, that one commenter, no, the father has 100% been finding middle ground every step of the way. That's why he's been telling his daughter to respect the rules and to not argue with her mom. Also, OP really should talk to his lawyer about the recording, especially at least have his daughter talk to her GAL about it, because a lot of states have a lot of wiggle room with those two-party consent rules, especially when it comes to a child filming their parents' abusive or potentially abusive behaviors. But unfortunately, that's where this story ends for now. I'll be keeping an eye on this one to see if there's any future updates, but best of luck to OP, because good God, man. Seriously, good luck. This post was collected by Shark Ava, and their tagline is, "No sex tonight, just add 50 justice or." The original OP is New Brick 1, posted on r/whatdoido, the 18th of December, 2025. I want to buy a house with my own money, but girlfriend says no. I, 29 male, have been dating my girlfriend, 25 female, for a little over a year. I don't live with her. She doesn't work because she doesn't want to, and relies on her parents. Things are mostly okay, but we're hitting a big disagreement that I can't shake. I've been saving aggressively for a while, and I'm finally in a position where I could buy a small house or townhouse on my own. Down payment is mine. Mortgage would be in my name, and I'd be fully responsible for it. When I told my girlfriend, she immediately shut it down. She says it's a huge life decision that affects both of us, and that I shouldn't do it unless we're married or buying together. She also said it would make her feel like she has no say in our future, and that it puts pressure on her to move in on my terms. From my side, I'm not asking her to pay anything. I'm not forcing her to move in. I see it as a smart financial move in something I've worked hard for. I don't want to keep renting just because I'm in a relationship that may or may not last forever. I also don't like the idea of delaying my goals waiting for someday. Now it's turned into arguments where she says I'm being selfish and acting single. And I feel like she's trying to control what I do with my own money. I get that it impacts the relationship, but I don't think that means I need permission to buy property I can afford. What do I do? Comments. Larry Winchester III. Quote, "Things are mostly okay," end quote. I don't make big life decisions with someone who I view that way. Might be time to move on. It's only been a year. User OKFinger9062 comments, "Yes, if that's the way OP describes the relationship, kinda tells us everything. Get the house. You can always sell it and move into a different home if the relationship goes somewhere." User OKIntroduction9466 comments, "Good for you for saving for a house. Buy the house. Super weird she can't be happy for you." OP responds, "I'm so excited for buying. I've been waiting for this moment. I'm also weirded out by it as well. She seems so mad at me." User OurRevolution4150 comments, "She wants you to wait until you're married so she can have partial claim or something. That's just my guess." Rossetti Yeti comments, "Most likely this. I don't know where you live, OP, but in many countries, the standard asset structure for marriage is that you share 50-50 of everything you acquired during the marriage. But each spouse would keep 100% of what they brought into the marriage, like your house, in case of divorce. She maybe once claimed to half your house if you ever get married then divorced." User Been There Done That comments, "Increase in value during the marriage is divisible." Judgment, not the asshole. Update. 1 day later. I spent a long time reading through the responses and honestly just got overwhelmed. At some point, it hit me that this isn't just about a house. This is a much deeper issue than I wanted to admit. I didn't sleep at all last night. I kept replaying everything and realizing how foolish I've been in this relationship. Around the middle of the night, I had a full panic attack and ended up driving to my parents' house. I woke them up and told them everything. They didn't even know most of this was going on. They've always seen me as independent and assumed I had things under control, and clearly, I don't. I had to admit some hard truths to myself. I don't really have friends. I was naive, depressed, and had low self-esteem. I met the first woman at a local bar who showed me affection, and I clung to that, thinking that was just how relationships worked. Deep down, the reason I was so unsure about everything is because of her lack of ambition and drive. And I hate admitting this, but I'm also at fault. I tolerated it. I spent money I shouldn't have. I indirectly encouraged behavior I wasn't okay with. A lot of you basically gave me the wake-up call I needed. I've never really dated before. I kept my head down, got my computer science degree, landed a high-paying job, and just kept grinding. The cost of that was my social skills and emotional awareness. That pain built up quietly, and whenever it surfaced, my go-to solution was calling her over so it would temporarily go away. It's obviously not a long-term solution. I did try therapy before, but I didn't feel comfortable with my therapist and ended up dropping it. After last night, I realized I need to try again with someone else. I called her in the late morning and asked her to come to my apartment tomorrow. Actually, meeting at a public place like a park might be a better idea. I'll change my plans tomorrow. For an important discussion. I'm going to break up with her tomorrow. I needed today to calm down, collect my thoughts, and stop spiraling. I'm still moving forward with buying my house soon. This whole thing hurts, but I finally feel like I'm choosing myself instead of avoiding discomfort. Comments. Travel RNW purse. OP, I'm so glad for you. It's painful but necessary. Dating someone who doesn't have the same values and goals, or hell, any goals, will never work. Leave this relationship and then work on your relationship with yourself. Become your own best friend. Make plans, execute goals, hit the gym, and do some wellness stuff. Dating will come, and you'll meet someone fantastic as you learn to treat yourself. Either way, the love you've been giving someone ungrateful. User pressed on love comments. That girl's parents have failed and are still failing her. She's an adult now and she's to blame for her decision. Good decisions to move forward and break up with her. So I went to poke around to see if maybe there was an additional update that didn't get included in the best of, and OP's banned from Reddit. Like, not suspended, which is what usually happens, but just outright banned, which is really bizarre. Like, in the probably upwards to 3,000 to 5,000 posts that I've covered, and when I actually go to explore users to see if they've, made updates or anything like that, normally it's either suspended, or the account's been deleted, or maybe their post history's purged, but seeing a banned user is just rare, and it's worth note, because I don't see that very often. But as for the main meat and potatoes of the post, I think OP is 100% making the correct decision, and while it's kind of rude to say, I do think that his ex, her parents failed her, because you're kind of in a position where you're 25, you don't want to get a job because you don't want to, and your boyfriend, who's actually making progress towards his life and was actually looking to get a house, you said no, because it's a big life decision, and you don't like the pressure that it puts on you. OP is 100% making the correct decision by leaving that relationship. Like, with Zoomers and Millennials, if you have an opportunity to snag yourself an actual piece of property, do it. You'd actually be losing money by hesitating. So, OP is 100% making the correct decision here. See, my brain also jumps into some of the tinfoil hat theories of whether or not this was jealousy, a control thing, or if some of the comments are right of she just wanted more control over the assets with marriage and wanted him to wait so that way they would both have the house. Either way, I do hope the breakup went well for OP and that things ended up working themselves out and he was able to get out of this situation and hopefully go shopping for some property. Good luck and congrats, man. It's a shame that your girlfriend couldn't share in your excitement with you. Don't forget, this is brought to you by GamerSupps. Use code OZ at checkout. It's basically a caffeine powder that you put in your water, and I actually really like it. I use this on a daily basis. Don't forget that every purchase you make using code EYES directly supports the channel. And if you want a personal recommendation from me, I would either recommend the Soda Pressing Pear or Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are currently my favorite flavors. And as a note, once we sell a certain amount of stuff, I get my own flavor and my own cup, and you all know I'm gonna choose some degenerate shit that's gonna make their PR team squirm. My goal is to make them regret partnering with me. So please, use code EYES at checkout to make my dream come true of making a PR team squirm.